It's a pleasure to have you here again. Today is the 12th of January 2021. And of course, we're here to talk about the market and what's happening in the market and the opportunities that we have in the Forex market. What we have here, first of all, is gold, right? And this gold, yesterday, we had some sideways action from yesterday. But last week we had a nice drop on gold, right? Gold dropped a couple hundreds. And from what we had on gold from last week, normally you're expecting the trend to follow through, because whenever you have a big down move or a big up move, the next thing that we're expecting is a sideways market and then a continuation, right? So let's see how today goes. So if you look at what we have over here, right, from looking at this gold, you can see that we have a low here that was made, and then we have a higher low and a higher low. So it seems like it wants to push higher. So if it pushes higher out of this level here, we have support, and you can see it kind of acted as resistance. If it breaks out of this flip, I'll be expecting a pullback to this point here, and I'll look to load for longs to push it higher, right? And this is on gold. So always look for a breakout retest kind of entry, right? And of course, the dollar index too would also help in leading the way. We all remember from last year, the dollar index got to the low of the year 2020, and then for this year 2021 so far, we are seeing that the dollar index seems to be appreciating, notwithstanding what's happening in the US, with the US capital, with the Trump issues, with the many bans on social media from Trump, and even the impeachment plans. Even though it's about 8 days to the inauguration of Joe Biden, they're still thinking of impeaching him. But let's see how that goes. Right, from what we have here, let's see whether we could have a breakout of this level here. This here was a resistance area. So if we break out here, a pullback here, then we look for an entry here to push higher. And then if the dollar index, the greenback, continues to push higher, then we should expect the dollar to, of course, to be strong. And if the dollar is strong, then we should expect the EURUSD to drop. And as you can see here, it's already about to test the lows from this week. So either it tests and it bounces, or it tests and it breaks out, pull back to that area, and then a continuation. It's all about following the fresh wave. And this is the fresh wave that we have for now, right? Don't try to be a hero if you don't understand what is happening. Best thing to do is to follow the fresh wave, as that obviously shows the strength of the buyers or the sellers. Now you can see the EURUSD, of course, is pointing downwards, and we know EURUSD and the dollar Swiss are obviously in opposite directions from what we have here. So of course, let's be expecting a breakout to the upside, retest to this level, and push higher. So we have here as resistance, we have resistance here in this area, right? Don't forget, it's always known as an area, right, and not a price point. So this is what we're leaning towards. And of course, it's always best to wait for price to do its thing, meaning that when price acts, then we would react after price, right? Don't try to preempt the move, right? So basically, this is what we have across board. And looking at the Aussie and Kiwi that tend to move alike, don't forget, if there is dollar strength, then we should be expecting what? We should be expecting Kiwi to make his way down and then a drop. And then I like this Aussie, by the way. There's plenty of space over here. So that means that most likely you should have a nice free fall to these areas here. We have a little area here. As you can see, we have resistance yet to be tested as support. So let's see how that goes. And then we have a flip over here. We have resistance, support yet to be tested. So I would most likely be looking for an area of entry. If it breaks out to the downside here and then should retest here, I would look for price action to load for shorts over here. And of course, as we always say, you should know your instruments, know how they move. Aussie and Kiwi tend to move more or less in the same manner. So if we have that on the Aussie, then of course we have this on the Kiwi as well. And look at your areas of interest. Always look to the left, and then you see your areas of interest showing you that support and resistance. There's one other thing that I would like you to know is that I'm also big on flip zones. Flip zones are areas of support and resistance. So that means that if the market should get to that area, we're expecting it to react most likely either it reacts as a bounce or a breakout and then a retest, because these areas have already proven to be support and resistance at one point in time. This is another example here where we had this as support. We had some support here and then resistance. Always look on your charts, and of course you will see these areas nicely. And once you see them, of course, it will start to give you more confidence in what's happening, right? Train your eyes to see like the resistance, and then on the flip, that's why it's called the flip zone. We have the support. Even when it broke out again, acted now as resistance and then dropped down. So always try to train your eyes so that you have a good enough, heads up as to what the market wants to do, and then you can simply attack it heads on. So this is what we have over here. Just a quick market analysis for this week. And of course, my trading starts majorly from Tuesday, which is today, where we wait for the market to act and then we react to what it's trying to do. So let's see what we can make out of this. And of course, an update to follow through on Thursday. So stay tuned for more videos that would enlighten you on what's happening on the regular. And of course, we normally add the fundamentals and technicals. And we all know that the fundamental will always show on the chart. As an example, as we're looking at this chart now, if something should happen based on the fundamentals, it could be an earthquake, it could be a natural disaster, whatever the case might be. If we have a big down candle, it could even be a scheduled news, could be the CPI or interest rate or whatever the case might be. Now, if we have a big down candle, then obviously we know that something has happened somewhere, and then we can go back and do our research, do our findings to find out what happened. But the chart will never lie. The chart will always show you and explain to you what the smart money are trying to do. All you have to do is to train your eyes to be able to read the charts like a book. And once you can read the charts like a book, then you are good to go, right? So signing out for now. Try to watch this video again. Look at the different instruments that we talked about. Look at the areas of interest that we're looking at, just in case we have something that pops up, so we can try to take advantage. Don't forget, we're all here to make pips. And of course, there's enough pips to go around. On a daily basis, it's over $5 trillion. There is no need to be selfish, right? So let's do what we have to do. If this video was helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that when we post a new video, you get that immediately. You get the notification. Don't forget to like, give it a thumbs up, and of course, comment below if you have any questions. Trade safely. Don't forget to use stop loss, and of course, don't forget to calculate your risk appropriately.